Hey friend, Anna Abramowitz here, and this video is going to be about talking to subject matter experts to design great e-learning scenarios. Now, one of the things that I hear a lot, and a lot of students ask me this question, is how do I talk to a subject matter expert? And a lot of them ask the question of how do I design a great scenario without actually having to talk to one? Is that possible? And also, how do you do that effectively? How do you talk to a subject matter expert very effectively? A lot of people freeze up in this area, and this is an area where everywhere else they're super comfortable, they're great at the software, they're great at all the other things, but they want to design great scenarios and great learning experiences, but talking to the subject matter expert gives them anxiety, and they feel unsure of themselves at that very moment. And I think there's two reasons that contribute to this. One is that sometimes we mix up the idea of interview for the Rolling Stone magazine of an expert versus interview as an instructional designer and e-learning developer interviewing an expert. Those are two different kinds of things. Now, when you're interviewing an expert for Rolling Stone, you probably want to be doing some digging and doing some background on that person, and maybe be knowledgeable so you can ask provocative questions and take the subject further, right? That's what a good interviewer does, a reporter does in those areas, takes the subject further. You are not trying to do that. What you're trying to do is discover the core essentials that this person now is taking for granted. So in fact, when you are talking to a subject matter expert as an instructional designer, I advise you against trying to do and becoming an expert in this area. In fact, you will not ask great questions if you think you know more than the person you're interviewing. And in fact, that's actually totally the wrong way you want to be. You want to maintain the mind of a novice, because it'll help you ask questions that that person, as being a practitioner probably for many years, is now taking for granted, or processes that they've amalgamated into shorter and shorter basically concepts to save them time, as our minds do over time. They've now packed them into these smaller components that your job is now not to think of the next step. Your job is to unpack these things for your learner so that the sequence is clear. And that's why a lot of times I think we get a little bit confused. We're like, oh, I'm not as good at this, or I'm not as well versed, or this person is going to see right through me. Good. You need to have that novice mindset, because you can still ask when they give you an answer and it's not blatantly clear, and you have that mindset of, I am working here on behalf of the learner. I'm working here to discover the nitty-gritty details that this person is no longer able to tap into because they don't think about them that way anymore. I'm able to ask why in the most naive and genuine way, so that when they give me an answer and I follow up with a why more than once sometimes, actually most times it's good to follow up with at least 3 or 4 whys, then I'm actually doing the work that's necessary to create a learning experience, not an expose. So I suggest you do that. You get comfortable with becoming a super novice, always coming in with this, like, it's okay coming in with this blank mind. Yes, you definitely need some great questions, and those are part of your interview process. But the minute you start assuming that you know more, or you do a lot of overlearning to try and be ready for that interview, you actually stop asking the kinds of questions that somebody who's not familiar with that kind of work or that kind of process would. And it hurts you, because then you can't design the kind of learning that your people will need. So I say stay fresh, stay novice, focus on your craft, not on their craft. That's their job as an expert. Focus on your craft, doing the best job on behalf of the learner, and you'll design better learning as a result. So I hope that was helpful. If you liked it, share it with somebody who you think is trying to become an expert when they don't need to be. They just need to become an expert in designing great learning, and leave the expertise to the people you're interviewing. All right? Take care.